Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Barenaked, 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 ABCs. Welcome to the Barenaked ABCs, where we cover every song from 7 to Y.
Wait, what? Did you say ABDs?
Did I? Oh my... Yes, son of a gun, I typed that wrong. Okay.
Not like you to make mistakes like that, Tracy.
All right, let me try that again. Welcome to the Barenaked ABCs, where we cover every song from Y to 7. Wait, that's not right.
Y
either.
to 7?
Y to 7. 7 to Y. All right, here we go. Get it right this time. Welcome to the Barenaked ABCs, where we cover every Barenaked Nady song from 7
Whoa, Tracy.
to Y.
You're going to need an eraser for all those mistakes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Well, thank goodness I have a delete key.
Yeah.
Before the invention of computers, I don't know what I would have done. So tonight we are joined by Aaron and Michelle, and we will be having a discussion about Eraser.
I draw it with a pencil because it's just a stencil.
If I do retry it,
Well, then I can't deny it.
I'm gonna need my little eraser.
Off the 2008 Snacktime album. I'm not even going to ask Aaron what album this is off of because it is so completely obvious.
That's very much a... Although... Well, we'll get into it. I have quite a bit to say about this one, actually.
Okay, I figured you would. It is written by Kevin Hearn, but it is sung by the whole entire band, including Tyler. It's interesting. We'll get to who replaces Steven when they do it live nowadays, because they do have a replacement for Steven's lines. I'm going to hand it over to Aaron to talk about this song, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, is this song in D flat?
That's incorrect. You would need to erase that
That's
mistake.
incorrect.
It's in C major. But thank you. So yeah, let's break
No,
it.
I made that joke because in one of the videos when they do this live, when they were out doing it at Borders bookstores across the nation to celebrate this and to put it out there. In one of those videos, Kevin comes out and says, "And this song is in D flat." I was like, that can't be right.
Maybe when they play it live, I'm not sure. But that would be a half step up. D flat or C sharp.
I will let you take over, Aaron. Tell us about this song.
All right, let's break it down.
Breakdown. Aaron's gonna talk about chord structure and time.
So Eraser is in C major for the most part. There are a few different sections, and the primary 4/4 section that I'm going to call like the verse and the chorus, that's around 155 beats per minute. But then there's the bridge section, which goes into this lovely 12/8 feel, and it sounds very Pink Floyd-esque, I think.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, so I enjoyed that. That's a little slower. It's about 132 beats per minute. There are also some operatic moments a la Queen.
Yes.
Eraser.
You copied my paper.
If I make an error, I can always make it better with my eraser.
you said Pink Floyd, I thought I heard, like, if we're talking about the same part,
Yeah.
I thought it was like Joe Cocker, A Little Help from My Friends.
I mean,
If I wrote you a letter, but I made an error, I could fix it and make it better. Oh.
a little bit, but like in the instrumentation, maybe there was a little bit of that in the vocals, but the instrumentation with the piano and the 12/8 feel, it was just very. It could easily have been slipped in that segment alone to like the Dark Side of the Moon without someone noticing. You know what I mean? It was, which is very high praise coming from me because that is one of my favorite albums of all time.
In my notes at that point, I have Comfortably Numb. Like, it just that whole atmospheric, lush, gorgeous.
Oh, nice. There you go. Yeah. So, yeah, it's got those, it's very lush sounding and ambient. Yeah, I love that section. So, they got some jazzy vocal harmonies, and I love the record skip effect at the end. The first segment, when they're saying eraser, it's like the chorus changes, really. So the introduction is going over the chorus changes, kind of, sort of. It goes from 7 to 1, 7 to 1, although really you could argue it's just staying on the 1, and then we're playing the 7 to get that gravity back to the 1. Then it goes to 2-5-1, classic jazz turnaround, 2-5-1, into the verse, which is a 4-5-4-5-2-5-1. The chorus is like the initial segment, so you're pulling down to the 7, but really kind of sits in the tonic. Then down to the 6, then up to the 2, then up to the 5, then back down to the 1. So you have 6-2-5-1. That is a classic jazz chord progression. I mean, 80% of the real book is 6-2-5-1. And in fact, there are a lot of songs where it's just like 2-5-1, 2-5-1, 2-5-1, 2-5-1. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think Giant Steps by John Coltrane is like a series of 2-5-1s in different keys, and it just keeps shifting key. You get a very, very jazzy kind of influence there. At the end of the second verse, instead of a D minor to G major to C major, we get D minor to G major to F minor, a chord which is not diatonic to C major. So we have a key change here. And you can really hear the change in tonality and feel. It brightens up a little bit, and it sounds very much like, oh, we've stepped into new musical territory. It sounds like we're in a minor key now. I was thinking A minor because that's the relative minor of C, but it's not. The chords they use here, F minor, A minor, D, they're only diatonic to E minor and to G major. And the tonic center here seems to be G because we land on a G at the end for the turnaround back to the C because G is the fifth degree of C major. So we're actually in G major, but we're playing some minor chords and it sounds kind of minor-ish. That's just for that second chorus at the end of the second verse into the chorus. Then we have the operatic section, which seems to be sitting comfortably back in C. We have this interesting run of natural notes up and down the scale. It's very loudly proclaiming, okay, we're in C now. Everybody got that? But it's followed up by a strong ostinato slamming on that G, the eraser. But all that's really doing is slamming the 5 to build tension so we can resolve back to C for our chorus changes. So if you were following all that, we got our intro, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, bridge, chorus, outro, which is sort of a B-A, B-A-C, B. And then if you want to call the outro another B. Ultimately, I like this one better than any other of the children's songs we have heard yet. It was musically more complex than the others, and enjoyable in its own right, really, especially that lovely bridge section, again, which wouldn't sound too out of place in peak perfection era Pink Floyd.
Totally. This is my favorite off of the Kids album.
It's pretty great.
When I was listening to it, I was thinking, if I was a teacher of elementary school kids, like young kids,
yeah,
I would, and everybody was stuck inside at recess, I would totally put this on and have the kids get the wiggles out or sing along to it, like with the eraser.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I thought it was great. And everything that you pointed out were things that stuck out to me too. I was getting Pink Floyd references. I was getting Queen references. I was getting the Shout, Tears for Fears. No, not Tears for Fears. Shout, you might me wanna shout.
Oh, yeah.
Towards the
classic
end.
Shout.
Yeah. I mean, it just was such a great, fun, energetic, over-the-top piece. And everybody just got to, like, get crazy in the song, it felt like. I loved it.
Yeah, it was really... Like I said, easily the best of the children's songs, certainly of the ones I've heard.
100%, yes.
I'm curious as to why, Tracy. Is this your least favorite, Tracy?
This is down for me.
Oh my goodness.
This is lower for me.
Really?
And it's for all the reasons that you guys like.
He's like, it's too adult. Give me the mac and cheese.
No, I mean, I like each of the pieces. I think my problem is that the way that they come together doesn't meld for me. The problem that happens for me is each of the pieces I enjoy. And if each of these pieces were a different song, I would love them. Or even if this were, you had mentioned earlier, Queen. If this were a 7-minute song like Bohemian Rhapsody and it flipped around and it hit with each one, it stuck with each one for like a minute or to 2 minutes. And
I was going to ask, what's the difference? So you want it to sit longer. It's too ADHD for you. It's all over the map. Is that what you're
saying? I like
saying?
each of the pieces, and before I get to sit and enjoy it and just kind of really relish in it, it's gone. And we're off to the next thing, and I don't get to fully, thoroughly just kind of immerse myself in that moment of what each of those pieces is, except for the beginning and the end, which is, I enjoy the beginning and the end, and I think for a kid's song it's very energetic, a lot of fun. It's that middle piece that just kind of throws it. And then the other part that I don't like about the song, and this is once again one of my problems that I have with Kevin, is, and I have to say, I know what Mill was saying. Mill was very much true in that if you're listening, you got to listen to Kevin for the music, not for the lyrics. The lyrics are there, but they're not his main focus. His main focus is to make you feel. And as a kid, that's what I did. I listened to songs, and I had the lyrics in my head, but I didn't, focus on the lyrics. Even growing up into an adult, I didn't focus on the lyrics as much. I knew all the lyrics, and I would sing them, but now I go back and I sing the songs, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what that song was about. Yeah, I didn't put it together even though I knew all the lyrics. Okay. And it wasn't because I was naive. It's because I really wasn't paying attention to the lyrics. I was just kind of feeling the moment of the music. I don't get what I want out of this song with Eraser. I want him to make this great analogy that Kevin can make with erasers. I want him to really delve into that idea that, you know what? The reason we have erasers on the pencil is because we're supposed to make mistakes, and the idea is to make mistakes, and that's how we learn, and really flesh that out. And he doesn't really do that with this song. It's very insubstantial.
What if the whole point of the song is all these little snippets are him starting a song and then erasing it, and then going into the next thing and erasing that. And going to the next piece and erasing.
I mean, that is exactly how Band on the Run and Bohemian Rhapsody got written as well. And I think Stairway to Heaven, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of really great songs came out of these bands having different song ideas and kind of just jamming them together. I know what you're saying, Tracy, is... Yeah.
Well, Day in the Life, which I love Day in the Life. But the problem, there's nothing I dislike about Day in the Life. The only difference between that and this is so short. I don't get to relish in that middle part.
For me, I personally would love to hear the middle part fleshed out as an entire song because I really dug it. But I mean, it's not jarring for me. I think that the way that they navigated musically with the chord change the key change that I referred to, they handled it very intelligently as far as being able to lead the listener and navigate through those particular changes. I really enjoyed it. It's not up there with all my favorites, but certainly again, as compared to the other songs from Snacktime, I'm thoroughly impressed by this one, and I tip my hat to Kevin. And Kevin, please come on the show because Michelle and I love you.
I love Kevin. It's just not this song. Matter of fact, Mill gave me a very good turning point with Kevin.
Yes.
I think that actually, in some ways, soured me to the song even more. In that I'm sitting and just trying to close my eyes and trying to sit in the music, and it's gone. And it was jarring to me for that reason.
Maybe that's the point. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the point of the song. Like,
and it might be.
Things can get erased.
And it's not bad.
Things move on.
It's not bad done. Like, everyone does a phenomenal job on this song. Like, it's each of these hitches, each of these types of music that they're hitting on is extremely well done and beautiful. Yeah. And like you said, that middle piece could fit in Dark Side of the Moon, like, and just blend in, and you would, except for the voices, you wouldn't know any different.
Yeah,
it is beautifully done. It just isn't hitting me.
That's fair. I mean, we all have our different tastes and such. But I like it quite a bit, and I like the idea. Like I've mentioned previously, I write music, but I've maybe finished perhaps 50 songs or less in my entire life up to this point, and I've probably started 300 or so. Maybe I should take a cue here and dig back in my catalog and try and put some of these bits together.
Mash them together.
Make a salad.
Do it.
I would love to hear that, because I like all the music that I've heard from you so far. So,
thank you.
I don't have a lot to say about this song. I mean, we're very into this song, and I don't have much to add. I can say that in concert, when they do this live in concert now, the person who has been their drum manager, Rob Tiny Minigoni, comes out. He's been working with Tyler for 17 years, I think they said. And he comes out and sings Steven's part during those times.
Oh, nice.
So it's actually kind of fun. And he actually comes out a lot of times during the concerts and does different bits that they need him to do. So there was a couple weeks ago, Michelle, that we were talking about, who's that guy on the side of the stage that's dressed as Santa? That is Rob.
That's Rob.
So
interesting.
He came out during one concert as God. He came out, he comes out in all these different concerts and does different bits and pieces throughout the concert. So
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding
the more you know.
Yeah, exactly. The more you know. Regarding the lyrics, I don't know Kevin as well, and I don't know any of the band members as well as the two of you do, but I wonder if he was trying to say something a little deeper here. I mean, obviously, I try not to chew it because I just shouldn't do it. So, I mean, that's obviously... you can definitely take this as a kid's song. It's literally about a pencil eraser. However, I mean, I try not to chew it because I shouldn't do it. Maybe that's about breaking habits, But I wonder, the line, if I make an error, I can always make it better with my eraser. Who hasn't wished they had an undo, or a redo button on life?
Command Z, Control Z.
Yeah, it's Control Z.
That saved my life more than one time.
So, I mean, I wonder if, he was kind of pondering that when he wrote it.
Kevin, you'll have to come on the show and tell us.
Yeah, you'll have to come on. Otherwise, we're just going to have misconceptions.
Well, I'll add a misconception in there, because this is one of the last songs that they played together on the Chips and Dips Shore. Ships and Dips Shore. Oh, boy, I can't speak tonight. Ships and Dips Cruise. And it's jarring to watch them sing this. Once again, you don't have a lot of that chemistry between Ed and Steve watching them. They have really great connection when they're talking, but then as soon as they start singing, I may be reading into it. Maybe it's because I know where it comes out and I'm doing a post-hoc kind of analysis here, so I know where things go out. But during the singing, there's a spot where Steve steps forward when it's his line, and you just get this look from Ed where he turns and looks away, almost like, I don't know. It's not... Ed, if you're going to read body language, Ed usually looks towards Steve or smiles towards Steve, and like they all communicate with their eyes and their body. And Ed very much communicated with his body in that moment when Steve stepped ahead of the microphone and just turned his head away and like frowned.
He's not having
I also have to say, like, it was really hard to see Steve in that state because he was extremely skinny at that point, and he didn't look like Steve in that video. He didn't look unhealthy, but he didn't look Steve. Like, he had lost considerable weight at that point. It's good to see him back to a healthy weight.
We're happy you're better, Steven.
Yes, please come on the show.
Again.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. We know you listen and hang on to every word.
So anyways, I took us down a dark path there. I have nothing more to add. Do you guys have anything more to add about this song? It's very short.
Nope.
Yeah, it's short and sweet. I like it. I wish that more of the songs from Snacktime had been like this and a little more experimental and out there and cool.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to put some numbers to those.
So we're going to go for power montages. That's our ratings for this song.
Power montage?
Yeah. I just felt like each bit of the song was its own unique little piece.
Vignette or something.
Vignette, yes. Maybe a vignette, a power vignette. I'm going to change it. Thank you, Aaron. Because that's a better term.
I like that.
I give it a 4.5. I liked it. I would listen to it.
Did.
Wow.
It's great. It's a great song. Aaron, how about you? How many power vignettes do you give this song?
I gave it a very high for me for a song off Snacktime. 3.4 vignettes out of 5. I really had to struggle to place this because there are so many songs that I do like better, but I wanted to make sure I was rating it highly enough because I do like it better than a lot of other stuff that we've covered as well. So I really kind of struggled to find the right number there. I feel like 3.4, and again, with 2.5 being average, this is well above average. And it's unusual for me to be thinking of a song off of Snacktime and thinking, wow, I'd really go and seek that out and listen to it. But especially, probably primarily because of that wonderful bridge section.
Yes.
I definitely could see myself doing that.
Exactly. Okay, Tracy.
Now we get to the haterade drinker over here.
How farly down are you going to pull this song?
Okay, it's going to get pulled down.
Uh-oh.
But I do want to point out that, one, it's definitely not my lowest song. 2, it is definitely not a low number by any stretch of the imagination. I still like this song. It's just not up there, and it's not one that I typically will play off from this album. And we'll get the kids' responses in a few minutes. It's really interesting. But so I give this a 2.75. It's above average. It's good. I'll listen to it. It's not like I love this song, I gotta play this all the time kind of thing. And maybe that's also us coming off from Enid that last week, like hearing that and then coming to this. Like I might just be having a little bit of a response to that. So we'll see when we do our review at the end of the year if that changes.
Interesting.
Okay. Interesting, yeah. I wasn't expecting you to go down sub 3. We're all over the map on this one. It's a divisive song.
Well, I had to look at other songs, and I have to say I like Popcorn more than I like this song. So, and Popcorn's a 3.
How?
It's just a really catchy, poppy tune that is like a lot of fun to play with the kids.
Okay.
And I like Easy better than I like this song. And I gave that a 2.9.
I still need to weigh in on Easy, don't I?
Yeah, Easy and Elf's Lament you still are needing to weigh in on.
I'll have to make sure I do that.
Got a couple that we got to get you to catch up on. But there's a week I'm going on vacation, so maybe you and Michelle can have some discussions of the ones you've missed.
Well, looking at my scores here, interestingly enough, I see that I also rated Born Human a 3.4, so maybe that's just my Kevin score.
There we go.
I don't know. Your Snacktime and Popcorn numbers are lower than that. So, and he definitely wrote those.
Oh, did he write those? Yeah.
And so I haven't mentioned it yet, but what we're going to do now is we're going to actually throw it to the kids, and we're going to get the kids' review on what they think about this song. Okay, Benjamin. So tell me what you thought of Eraser.
I give it 5 true erasers.
And what did you like about the song?
The middle of the song, when it sounded like a soap opera.
When it sounded like a soap opera? What do you mean?
It was playing opera music.
Oh, opera music? What was another thing that you liked about the song?
The part where it kept saying eraser, 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 eraser.
Okay. And what would you change about the song? Anything?
No.
Bella, tell me what you thought about the song Eraser.
I give it a 5.
What was your favorite part of the song?
I liked it when it had, like, a song that, like, a cowboy could just, like, dance to.
Okay. Bella, what would you change?
I wouldn't change anything.
Were there any other parts of the song that you enjoyed?
Well, I like the whole thing.
Okay, thank you guys both.
You're welcome.
Tracy, what have you got for appearances this week?
All right, so one, I do want to point out there's a couple of videos that I'm going to be posting of when they did this live. One is just before Steven left on that Ships and Dips tour, and I still think it's good to watch because you do get to see them interacting in a very different way, but you also get to see them live. There's also a lot of really good banter before they start the song, so that's a lot of fun to watch always with these guys. Also, there's a couple more appearances I'm going to put in there. I picked kind of the best of when they did their Borders tour to kind of promote the Snacktime album. And you get to see Kevin really super long holding this note. I mean, he's holding that first note of the song for a good 30, 40 seconds. And he and Ed have a hold off the note off kind of contest to see who can hold it off longer. And Kevin wins over and over again, so it's a lot of fun. So I'll be posting a couple of those as well.
Awesome.
So guys, we got an email.
Oh, really? Did we get a postcard?
We did. We got a postcard. Not a chimpanzee postcard, but we got a postcard.
Thank God. I would have been livid if it was.
Another postcard with chimpanzees, and everyone is to me.
So we got a postcard from Tim Jar. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. It's a very long one, so I'm going to snip this down, especially since he and I have had now 3 back and forth conversations, and each one is probably easily a page long. He's definitely a fun person to have a conversation with, and I could sit down and just have a glass of wine and talk B&L with him all day. He said, "Hello all, I recently discovered your podcast and have been making my way through a few select episodes in the back catalog to get an idea of what it's all about. It's led me to a few questions, and I may be underestimating with a few." He was. I'm one of those people who love to talk about music that I enjoy, so this will either be the start of a really great long conversation, it was, or I'll scare you off. Nope. First of all, I'm curious about who you all are and your background with the band, so I let him know that to go back and listen to our first episode, and he did. He's been vaguely aware of the group since about 1991 when he and his friends were in high school listening to alternative music, and they were introducing him to newer bands beyond the ones that his older brother had already set him off on. And he says, "I don't think I became a fan on my own until 1991 when Stunt blew up. He's been in the fold for every record since then, although he hasn't found time for fake nudes yet. And he's seen them in concert 4 times.
Wow, nice.
Nice.
Here's his questions. Do we ever dislike a song? All the episodes he's listened to so far.
Tim, I'm going to...
Listen to another postcard.
Tim, I'm going to direct you to listen exactly what Aaron just said. Listen to another postcard. I'm not sure which episode that is, but you will definitely hear my disdain for that song. And then every episode after that, I usually mention my disdain for that song going forward. At least once. So, and thank you for giving me my opportunity now. Yes, I do not like another postcard. It makes me crazy.
No, another postcard is your lowest.
Yes.
So I'm looking through to see who everyone's lowest is at this point.
It's a tie, I think, for 789 Vegetable Town and Do They Know It's Christmas for me.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I tell you, the Christmas songs and the kids songs. I'm a Grinch. I'm just a Grinch, I guess.
He's a mean one, Mr. Aaron.
And my lowest one, I think so far, looking at this list, if I am correct, is Vegetable Town. That was my lowest score that I've given so far.
Yeah, you rated that one lower than I did. That was a surprise.
Yeah? No, I did not like that one at all. That was a dislike firmly on my part. But if that one doesn't do it for you, you can go back and listen to Carol of the Bells episode or Daydreaming episode. I dislike those ones pretty strongly as well. So, so we do have ours that we dislike. We don't all kind of dislike them all at the same time, though.
We occasionally drink the haterade.
We will probably find one that we all across the board we all dislike, but it's gonna take a good strong bad song to make that
Vegetable
happen.
Town was pretty low. I mean, Michelle had it at 2.5, so just average. I guess that's not poor, but that was we all universally had that 2.5 or lower.
Yep.
Honestly, though, go ahead.
He asked about what our position is of the group on Steven's exit, and then later on came back and said, "Oh yeah, we got that one. We talked about
that fairly often."
Oh, that's
and it's interesting. I told him later on, like we have actually come to a number of different positions on that over the last year, and kind of moved around a lot on that. So it's interesting.
Well, we mentioned Pink Floyd today. And I think it's such a good parallel, especially with after the split legally. Like Roger Waters was allowed to perform stuff from the wall, Pink Floyd was allowed to perform stuff from the wall, and they kind of just. It's interesting to me. I think the split was kind of similar, and I also feel like Roger Waters was probably the most genius of the Pink Floyd members, even though. In my opinion, he sounds his best when he's being tempered by David Gilmour's more straightforward, bluesy, tastefulness.
Agreed.
But anyways, well, very similar to me.
You mentioned Pink Floyd. He actually says Depeche Mode isn't the same without Alan Wilder. But he's not going to dismiss all of their music from the eras without just that one person. What is your take on Depeche Mode without Alan Wilder?
Michelle?
I have to say, Depeche Mode, Some Great Reward, was the first CD I ever purchased. When I first got my first CD player, I think it was 91. It was either 1989 or 1991, but I think it was 91. But it was right in that era. So Tim and I are kind of in the same generation. I'm a little bit older than Tim, but I don't know how I feel. I have to think about it.
I personally, my favorite album by Depeche Mode, I like to call them Depressed Mode. I love Depressed Mode. Love me some Depressed Mode. But I love Music for the Masses. That is my favorite album by them. Violator obviously was very popular, and for good reason. There's a lot of great stuff in there. Personal Jesus, Enjoy the Silence.
Princess Di is wearing a new dress. I mean, come on.
And then Songs of Faith and Devotion. So my favorite are the three right before he departed. So I mean, I don't really, to be honest, I'm not as much aware of the stuff after that point. Like late 90s and beyond, I kind of lost track of Depeche Mode. So I mean, this is an opportunity for me to get back into them and discover their more recent stuff. I didn't even realize. Are they still? Yeah, they're still cranking out music. I guess they put an album in 2016, The Spirit. I haven't heard that at all. So I'll have to take a listen. I'm sure they're still quite good. Let me put it this way. That to me kind of reminds me more of the like Joy Division turning into New Order after Ian Curtis died.
Yes.
And I love New Order. I love New Order. Don't get me wrong. Love New Order. But, if you're asking me New Order or Joy Division, it's not even a question. Joy Division instantly for me.
I guess I would say to kind of agree with you, or I don't know if I'm agreeing with you or not, but I'm totally with you on the Joy Division New Order. But for me, Depeche Mode has always been David Gahan and Martin Gore. Like those two have always been the primary. So
you'll have to
Hi, Becca.
You'll have to cut that out of my audio.
Luckily, there was a nice lull there on your end.
I guess I should say I was certainly more of a Depeche Mode fanatic when Alan was in the band. Afterwards, I still enjoyed them, but I was just doing other things and actually diving deep into Barenaked Ladies. So
yeah, I'm not sure how much of that had to do with his influence. Like I said, I haven't listened to enough of the newer stuff to be able to make an educated opinion about that, so I apologize.
Agreed. I agree with you there. I agree.
He also asks us, did Ed ever do any new bathroom sessions? The answer to that, as far as I've actually been able to find, is absolutely no. Although I would love for Ed to do more bathroom sessions on some of the newer stuff, or even some of its older stuff, maybe some of the B-sides. And if he ever got back together with, Steve to kind of do those, that would be amazing. But no, he's never done that.
They should put out an album of duets, the bathroom sessions, just Steven and
bathroom
Ed
duets.
Now, doing the old songs.
That would be
a healing event, and I think it needs to happen.
That would be great. I would love that, yeah.
Ed, if you're listening, because we know you do, I would pay money for that.
Yeah, I must have at least $5 and change under the cushions of the couch, so...
And then he says that Ed did a podcast, even before his TV show took off, which we'll talk about later. Ed talked about how he wrote the songs, especially When I Fall, and often played an acoustic version at the end. I have not found this podcast yet, so I actually asked him, I'm like, where'd you find this? Because I have not found this podcast. And did I ever hear them? No, I have never heard them. I never have heard it. So I'm looking forward to, if anyone out there knows of Ed's podcast around that, I'm going to binge listen to that up and down if you give me that information. And then finally he says, thanks for a great podcast. Well, thank you for the compliment.
Yes, thanks for listening.
And looking forward to more episodes.
Thank you very much for writing in.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yes. It's actually been really fun, and if you guys ever want to talk music with him, I'm leaving the emails up in our server, and for you guys... For you, Aaron and Michelle, not for our guests, to respond to. And then also, if anyone else has messages they want to send us, you can send it to barenakedabcs@gmail.com or reach out to us on Facebook. We always love to get email messages, and we will always try to respond to them here on the show if we have the extra time.
Cool.
Very cool. Tracy, Are you a fan of public transportation?
I am not a fan of public transportation.
Oh, yeah?
It's dirty, it's cringy, it's just like it's squished and uncomfortable and usually hot and just ugh. And there's all that graffiti on the walls.
There's definitely some graffiti. I recommend that you check out public transportation in Montreal. Very clean. Every subway car just is perfect. It smells good. There's no graffiti. So kudos to the city of Montreal for having good public transportation.
And kudos to Aaron for taking that transition, because I knew not where I was going with that one.
Does that mean we're covering...
So come back.
Go ahead.
Yeah, come back next week as we cover every subway car. Not literally. We're not going to cover every subway car. We're not going down to New York and discuss... That would take a long time, or even up to Montreal or Toronto or any of those cities. Like, we're just going to cover the song every subway.
We'll see you then. Catch you next time. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.